Say, for example, urban flooding. I am having a topic. Once in a while, there is a news for urban flooding. Say, for example, this is a season for urban flooding. It will start, right? So Mumbai will flood, then Chennai will flood, then Bangalore will flood, then Hyderabad will flood, and one by one, everything will start flooding, right? So at that time, you have news regarding urban floods. So when I have news regarding urban floods, I have a title Urban Floods. Some unique points which some articles provide for. I collect those 4 or 5 points. That is actually Notesmith.
So the first question is by Lavpreet, who's asking a question. Is good writing matters in mains exam, sir?
See, as far as handwriting is concerned, we need to be legible, right? So it is not calligraphic writing we require. We need legible writing. That is one. And number two, grammatical, yes, of course, a basic grammar is required. Okay? So how to overcome this? This is very simple. You write a simple sentence. See, generally what happens is that we compound the sentences. Okay. So when we start a sentence, it will end only in fourth line or fifth line. Right. That is the way in which we have been used to writing. So what we try to do, you try, okay, and with certain brevity of words, that will be doing good. So you will not be much going into the nuances of grammatical errors or so on, because it won't happen in a simple sentence. So go with sentence, just a sentence going in 1 or 2 lines max. That's it.
Now, Ashwini is asking a question. How many questions to attempt so that we are able to effectively clear prelims?
Okay.
Is the question.
See, actually, this particular question, say you have 100 questions totally, right? So we put the bar at a higher level, that is 55 plus. 55 plus means 55 in the sense with the 2, it is going to be around 100 smart, no doubt about it. So any person who scores it definitely will jump over the fence, right? So to get that 55, what we are aiming at. So you may maximum attempt 80 questions. That is enough, right? Enough in the sense, generally any examination, a competitive examination, 10 to 15 questions or 10 to 15% of the questions you may not really know. I'm talking about quantity wise, okay? 10 to 15 questions. Question number 1 may not be known to you, I may know. That is different. But I may not know one set of 15 questions. You may not know one set of 15 questions, right? So 10 to 15 questions you may not know. Just don't care about it. You leave it, right? So remaining 80 to 90 questions, out of which 10 questions you may be there for guessing, because you may not be completely knowing about it. You have to guess over. Okay. Just leave them. So almost you will be leaving around 80 questions. Sorry, 20 questions, right? Altogether. Remaining 80 is enough to score 55, right? How to find this? Say, for example, if I am having a first round of question is going to be solved. So when I'm having that sure shot, what I say, I know that particular question by seeing the question without any technique. I know that particular answer. So this I call it a sure shot. First attempt, first round of my exam, I try to attempt all these sure shot questions. I find all these questions and I attempt it. It may be scattered around the 100 questions. Say if I'm crossing around 30 or 35 questions, generally that candidate can attempt 20 to 25 questions which are through elimination. It can be right. Okay. So minimum 20 to 25 questions, they can make it right. With that particular knowledge, where a person can cross 35 questions as sure shot, right? So at least 20-25 questions they can attempt through. Remaining few, at least 5 questions they can go with random guess which can appear right. Okay, so this is how this particular thing will work on. So how I can improve this? From 30 to 35, generally any candidate, if you just solve 20-24 questions, you will get around 30-35 questions as sure shot. But how to improvise it? I improvise it by understanding what are all the difficulties I have in these subjects, what are all the potholes I have in these subjects. I improve the threshold knowledge. Thereby, I increase slightly from 35 to 40. When my sure shot is 40, definitely you will be crossing 55 plus. Got it? That is a basic idea. When you put any type of question, so you randomly take some question paper of previous year, you solve it, you cross 40 sure shot. without any wrongs. I'm talking about net questions. 40 short question you can cross. Definitely you can cross 55.
So here one of the student is asking a question, sir, about making notes for mains. So he's asking how many pages of notes for one topic is needed to actually write effectively for mains.
So actually, whether we need notes to answer writing, that is a question I want to put it out, right? So this is a problem what we actually have. We feel that when we have notes or we construct a notes from the book or whatever source we have, we will be very confident of it, right? Say it's like a child having mom's sari in its hand as a safety measure. Okay, just a psychology, right, of the child to hold the sari while it sleeps. So this is same thing. I put it for notes. When I hold my notes, I'm confident that I can answer any question, right? So actually, if you really want to have notes, your notes is from previous year questions. Right? Group the questions into topics, get that particular questions into points, right? Say there will be one question. The question can be right. That is, the question can have answer as yes or no. Regionalism is a cause for internal security issues. So and so, if there is some question, then this is your point for regionalism. So regionalism, source of internal disturbances. Simple. That is what you need to have as notes making. It's not you have a book, you have some gist, you have it in notes. It's not going to happen, or it's not going to work for you because it is already there. You're not creating something new. If you really want to make notes, you try to create something new. What is that? From previous year questions, you get it as new. Or from current affairs, you try to get it as new. I have a topic, say for example, urban flooding. I am having a topic. Once in a while, there is a news from urban flooding. Say for example, this is a season for urban flooding. It will start, right? So Mumbai will flood, then Chennai will flood, then Bangalore will flood, then I think Hyderabad will flood, and one by one, everything will start flooding, right? So at that time, you have news regarding urban floods. Clear? So when I have news regarding urban floods, I have a title urban floods. Some unique points which some articles provide for. I collect those 4 or 5 points. That is actually notes. Okay. So notes making is not from books or your classworks or your recorded classes. Rather, it is going to be from your previous year questions, current affairs, and some other new sources which you have, which will actually create a new notes for you. It is not cut, copy, paste kind of. Understood?
So here comes another consequential question here. Is it not important to have a skeleton before one actually works on the questions? What's your take on that, sir? When you asked us to directly work on the questions, don't we think we need to have a skeleton before we work on?
So what is that skeleton? Skeleton in the sense, it is nothing but the group of words what we require. That is what we are getting in the note making, what I have told you before. Say, for example, when I am collecting some information on a particular topic, I have certain, what I may collect some new approaches, emerging approaches. I may collect some words which are used, say jargons, right? So I may collect some new techniques which are used, some implementation kind of. So these are certain things which I am going to use or collect. This is going to be the actual structure which you are going to, or parts of skeleton which you are going to arrange. Okay, you have bones. Don't take the skeleton as a whole. So you have bones. You can arrange that particular bones into a human skeleton or a skeleton of any other animal. Okay, don't go to try with skeletons on the whole. Just try to have the bones, because you may be requiring a skeleton of a human. At times you may be requiring a skeleton of an animal. So you need to change over. So using these bones, you can change and you can create new skeletons. That's the most important part.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that insight, students. I hope all of you understood that previous year question papers are the key to build your content, right? So here, one of the students is asking a question that in majority of the test series are based upon knowledge, and just solving PYQs may not be enough. So how do we bridge this gap when majority of the test series outside are just based on knowledge? So do you have an answer for this?
See, basically the test series across the board. Okay, so how they will be naturally they will be designed to teach you, okay, or you use it as a learning tool. But whether you are having a testing, it is previous year question paper, right? The question paper is two-pronged tool. One is a testing tool where you can test your knowledge. It's a touchstone. And number two, it is a knowledge tool because it is a point where you have building of note making. Say, for example, Mauryas, I take in history. I have set of say 20 questions on Mauryas, and in Ashoka 10 questions. I have 10 points on Ashoka, right? From the previous year question itself. So naturally, that's a learning tool. As well as whether I know something about Mauryas, whether I have relevant knowledge about Mauryas with respect to the exam. That's a fundamental question which you need to answer. Knowing about Mauryas is not a question. Knowing about Mauryas with respect to UPSC exam is a question. Understood? So we have knowledge on variety of aspects because you have many sources of knowledge. Say people are intelligent, no doubt about it, especially the generation, the next generation. Say, for example, the generation next to me will be intelligent, no doubt about it. But whether that particular intelligence is relevant for this particular exam, that's a question. When I am going to sharpen my intelligence or knowledge towards this particular relevance of the exam, you will succeed. Okay, understood. So the test series is the knowledge base, but you need to convert it into the tool for succeeding the exam. That is your gap which has to be filled. Okay, you ask for a gap, right? That is a gap. You have a learning tool, you have a testing tool. In between, there is a gap. Try to fill that gap. How? Try to bridge it. So I have this knowledge, but UPSC is asking this. How to realign that? That is where we fit in. So the mentoring session exactly fits that particular gap because any question can be there at the flash of a moment. How to build a best answer? That is what the first question what we had tested. The first slide what we started is that I gave a flash of a question. You gave some answer. How to build that? Okay. So that gap is going to be filled, and that gap is nothing but what we actually say as skill and logic.
So I hope that was clear, Govind. So we have one student who's asking this question, and generally this is a question asked by working professionals. Can this exam be cracked in one attempt starting from now while working? This makes me expand this question further to ask you, how do we build the certainty in this exam when prelims and mains, the approach is so uncertain as to what can come in the exam, sir? So how do we build the certainty and ensure we have a higher chance of clearing this exam, in your opinions?
See, understand what is this particular competition is all about. The competition says that you have given a set of framework. Okay. In your words, it is syllabus. So within that particular framework, there are some questions which are going to be asked, and you need to answer it. It's not like IITs or IIMs that you need to have 99 percentile of marks and so on. So your IIT is still from IITs till your NET exam. Everything goes with the highest percentile. It need not be here. Say, for example, last year you would have never imagined that the cutoff would have been around 75 to 79, right? That is marks. That means when you reverse it, it is going to be 35 to 40 questions max, right? So this is what the exam is. So understanding this general framework of the exam is very, very, very fundamental. Okay. What we are trying to achieve is we want to complete that 100 questions right. Our target is answering 100 questions right. That is not this exam. That is IIT exam. Correct? Getting 100 questions right is IIT exam. Out of 100 questions, I need to be qualified is the UPSC exam. How I will be qualifying it? How we fix it? We fix through the scale of longevity, the averages. Okay, the ratio or average we put it. So past 20 years, what is the entire cutoff it is? So exactly, it may be around 55 you score, whatever may be the ups and downs, you will be clear. That is what we fix it. Okay, there is some rationality in putting 55 plus. It's not just an idealistic thing. It's just an average of ups and downs. So when I don't believe in those, what do you call, different cutoffs. I put everybody as same. Everybody try for 55, irrespective of your reservation, right? So if we are going to offer reservation, that is next level. But aiming is 55 plus. So this is the fundamental change. The mind has to be, accepting. Then only you will understand other aspects. Okay, so if 100 is there, how to choose this 55? Now the question comes there. Otherwise, what will happen? How to attempt all 100? That will be the question. How to attempt all 100? I search for sources. I give more importance to source than giving importance to solve this particular question which is given. Understood? So it's all our focus. So the focus is understanding the exam, understanding what the exam expects, then understanding how this question to be answered rather than from where the question is going to be asked for. Clear? In all other areas, all other exam, you will be asking where the question comes from. Whereas here, you need to ask how the question should be solved, irrespective of whatever may be the problem. This is a fundamental difference between UPSC exams and other I put rest other competitive exams also, including the state level exams, SSCs and other stuff. There also you'll ask which book I have to read. Yes, for state level exams, we have some sources from which they are limited. Say, for example, the commissions have prescribed textbooks. So they'll go only for the school books. They don't go beyond that. Right? Whereas for UPSC, it can be unimaginable, any source, because you don't have a framework for it. You don't have a fixed syllabus. So understand this basic difference. So UPSC exam is something unique, whether it doesn't fit in your civil service, other competitive exams also. It won't fit in the other competitive exams for your business schools. It won't fit in the other competitive exams which you have like university exams or net exams or research exams, so on. You come out of it, then your all problems will solve because your questions will be different. Naturally, the answers will be right. Understood?
Wonderful, sir. Students, I hope all of you observed a very, very important point here that Sir mentioned, right? So I think from your words, what I can say is whatever they have studied in the education system, they'll have to unlearn and relearn it for UPSC exam. I think that's
it's more of tuning them towards it. That's all. See, for example, fig tree, 2024, there was a question. There was a question which is going to have a very symbiotic relation with the insect, right? So it's absolutely fig tree. None of your textbooks or anything is going to provide this. But how I learned it, it is only through awareness, only through different sources of learning. So it happened to be. So this is a cumulative knowledge, you know. So when I saw this question, I was really happy. So they really ask a question from observation. So it is not in that particular scenario. So this is what UPSC is. It's not all about in the books. It all comes from what you observe, what you learn incrementally, what you learn cumulatively. So this is what the exam is all about. Yeah. So understand that, then automatically you can have it.
Absolutely. Students, I hope all of you understood that UPSC is not just in the books you read, it's in everything that you see around. So apply the concepts in everything that you see around, and there's a lot of knowledge to gain. So one last question as a continuation to the previous answer. There's a student asking a question. Can an average or below average student qualify this exam? What are the areas to focus in order to be in the competitions? What's your take on this, sir?
Definitely, UPSC exam is for all. So there are many examples you can be provided with that average student, below average student. Actually speaking, there was once a criticism that Indian administrative service is just Indian average service that only average people get into. Okay, that was even that is a level of criticism what it has been from those from IITs and IIMs because they couldn't qualify, right? So the rate at which the competition is the beauty. The beauty of this exam is the people who qualify or educated in IITs and IIMs, the people who are from the rural backgrounds who carried their entire schooling from your government aided schools and colleges, they compete each other and they qualify. They both qualify. Okay, so across all spectrum, whatever combination you have, there are people who have qualified. Okay, so don't have the doubt that I'm an average person, so I have whether I could do it. There are people with arrears who did it. There are people who had multiple attempts, they did it. There are people who are unimaginably backward. Okay, so you think you are average and backward. If you have some level, I can show you people beyond that even level of your imagination, right? So that is possible. Yeah, every walks in lives you have people entering into, no doubt about it. There is no iota of any dispute, right? So that is one. And number two, how to do it, that is what I answered in the previous one. So how you actually perceive this exam does matter. Okay. So understand the exam from the real perspective. You just shut off all your market perspective. Don't have your YouTubes or your toppers or your all stop one sense, understand it and then hear to them. The problem is that you hear everybody and you don't decide anything or you don't learn anything. That's a problem because you take just because they have qualified, they tell something, it becomes real. Okay, it need not be. It's their opinion. That's all. You understand your exam from your heart. So that really brings you a basic understanding, which gives you the springboard for success, right? So this basic self-understanding is not there. That's a problem. I borrow ideas. I build an opinion on this particular exam. Okay. If someone says it is easy, yes, it is easy. If someone says it is tough, it is tough. It's not like that. You believe what it is. You try to find out what it is. Then the exam will be really in your hands. Clear?
Wonderful, sir. Students, I hope all of you are able to get this very important points that sir mentioned. What is the meaning that you're giving to this exam will make all the difference in the way you see this exam, right? So check for yourself. And sir, one final words regarding the further approach for the students, keeping in mind the prelims this time, sir. What is your take as to what they have to do?
Okay. See, the idea is that remember that UPSC is also consistently reforming itself with your performance. Okay. So how you reform with the question paper, with the student performance, UPSC tries to reform itself. Right. That is what the two new type of questions which they have introduced. One, this column, multiple column, 3-column match up following. And in assertion reason type of questions, there are 2 statement questions. That is, one statement will be there. There will be consequently 2 statements, statement 2, statement 3. And they have introduced that whether these 2 statements are going to be giving the meaning or one is going to give the meaning. So this approach, so you need to be open-minded that these are future, say, for example, that 2 statement question or the statement 1, statement 2, statement 3 type of question. Only 1 or 2 questions, I think, this time we had. Tomorrow in 2025, there may be 5 to 6 questions because they will research how this question is being answered, whether students have answered it or not, because it's all data management, right? So when they know that, they will increase that particular number of type of questions. They increase column questions. Say, for example, when you analyze that particular column questions, it is predominantly international places kind of. Say, when I put it in one closet, it is going to be geography. Okay. Largely geography questions are now asked in this particular manner. That means tomorrow it can be given to history also because it is similar. Tomorrow it can be given to polity also. It is also similar, but polity it will be somewhat difficult. But history and geography can be easily fit into that particular area. Now, when I am going to read some facts in geography, I need to be very much equipping myself, keeping this 3-column in mind. When I'm learning something, I need to understand all these 3. When I'm learning waterfalls, so waterfalls, location or the area or the region, and then which river, then say, for example, which forest, it may be which forest. So multiple facts I need to be aware about. Previously, waterfall, river, that's all, or maybe state. Whereas now they go for region instead of state. That is where the improvisation you need to do. So this is the learning what you need to make. With that learning, you need to carry forward your preparation, expand your preparatory methodology in that way, not sources, methodology. So how I am going to learn geography, how I am going to learn history. Already a person who has attempted, now giving an attempt again. Try to reorient your preparation in this manner. There can be one dynasty asked. First person in the founder of the dynasty asked. Now they can also ask the region. They ruled Malwa region. They ruled Mewar region. They ruled peninsular area, Deccan region, likewise. So 3 columns can be there. So try to understand these type of changes. Accustom that in your preparatory methods. That is where you enable your success rates.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that valuable insight. So thank you so much for your effective participation. Thank you, sir, for coming and sharing your wisdom about this preparation. And students here, please understand every word that we spoke, every insight sir has given. I hope all of you could make note of that. and borrow this excellence, implement and build upon. At the end of the day, what I like to tell all of you from Sir's words is, don't rely on memory, rather you rely on your analysis. And that is what will make you excel in the exam. So your own structures that you had throughout your academics, unlearn and relearn it for the exam so that you can achieve the exam. And every one of you can do it. Okay. I hope this session really helped you all out. And for those of you who are in this workshop, the Telegram group shall open for assignments at 9 o'clock. So please go ahead and submit your assignments. Thank you all, and I'll see you tomorrow for another amazing session. Thank you. Thank you, sir, and thank you, students.